Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pitchside Perspective podcast. This week, I'm delighted to be joined by Jaume Canals, a Spanish native who has made the move across to Liverpool. We're going to be talking about his early days in coaching, getting his UEFA and his masters, as well as economics and how sports tourism has really changed the world. We'll be talking about the World Cup, about the differences between England and Spain, and how real true culture can be seen in people traveling through sport. So sit back and enjoy this episode.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Jaume, how are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, well, Stuart, thank you very much. Thanks for welcoming me.
It's great to have you on, and today we're going to be talking a lot about football, but football around the world and culture. And really excited. You've been a man who's been to many places across the world. I was fortunate enough to bump into you again last week, and we shared some good times in Barcelona. But to give the guest a bit of an insight into you, I'm riding solo today, but we're going to start off with the quick fire questions for you. So hopefully you're ready.
Perfect, yeah, go on.
So we'll kick off with name.
So, Jaume Canals.
I'm glad you're saying that and not me, because I'm not very good at pronouncing names. So we'll go with
There
that.
we go.
Your favorite club?
I'm a football fan. Let's be diplomatic today.
Okay, I like it. Favorite ever kit?
We'll say the Spanish kit of Korea and Japan.
Okay, yeah. What stands out from that kit?
Was like quite a retro one. It's like small blue details and obviously the red stamp of Spain.
Who's the best player you've seen live?
Messi.
Yeah, Messi stands out.
I would say Messi, it's been the best player. The one that took me to love more football, probably Ronaldinho.
Okay, yeah, good one. And that smile on his face,
There
it's
we go.
you can't beat it. And then last one, your favorite sporting memory?
The World Cup that Spain won in 2010.
Where were you?
With all my friends at my hometown, obviously everyone like waiting to win, and yeah, it was quite like a nice moment when Iniesta put that ball in.
Yeah, that was good times. I think I was actually in Spain at that time on a tour,
Right,
and I was in a
right.
hotel, and I can just remember everyone going crazy. There's some experience to be actually in the country that goes and wins that World Cup, like just the atmosphere. There was parties everywhere. It was good times. I can't really remember too much because there was a little bit too much consumed that night. But
There we go.
no, excited to get you on, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Obviously, riding
Sure.
solo today, there's no Jack, so normally we give each other a little bit of a question each week of a guess who, and we're going to guess who the challenge is.
Mhm.
So this week, I'm going to put you on the spot and give you the 5 clues and see how well you do. How's your
Okay.
knowledge on players? Are you fairly confident you can get this?
I'm quite confident, yeah.
So we'll kick off the first clue. This
Yeah.
ex-Barcelona player has played in the Premier League as well.
Okay. Did he play for United?
I'm not gonna answer anymore. I'm only giving that one
Okay.
clue.
Okay. Can I give a name and you can say yes or no and then keep going, or how it
The
works?
answer will be at the end. You can give me one name who you think it's gonna be.
Hmm. But if I fail now, you keep giving me
We
clues
keep
or not?
going. Yeah, we keep going.
All right. Victor Valdez.
Okay, so we're locking Victor Valdez. You could be right on the first clue, but you're not gonna know
Okay.
until the end of the episode.
All right.
So I'll
Nice
give
one.
you the second clue. It might make you change your mind.
Okay.
This midfield player has played
Okay.
for 3 different Premier League teams.
All right. Midfield player. Okay.
Anyone spring to mind?
Not really. I'm a bit lost now.
Okay, it's definitely not Victor Valdez then.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Played for Barca. Midfielder. 3 Premier League clubs, you said.
Yep.
Okay.
If there's no one coming to your mind, we'll come back with clue three.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll save clue three for the end of the episode. We'll get into it and we'll give you clue three, four, and five, just to give you some time to think maybe and
All
see if
right.
you get it.
All right.
But
Nice one.
now time for our conversation, and I kind of want to take you down memory lane. Talk to us a little bit about your earliest memories of football and falling in love with the sport.
So I grew up in a house where my dad was president of my hometown football club. So he was the president for like 15, 20 years. So obviously I love football, but I played there. My dad was the president. So I grew up with my dad being president till I was like nearly 18. Um, and football has been always around. We've gone to like football professional games. We've been with professional footballers around. So yeah, I have touched football, I would say, always. Um, so yeah, that's how I grew up. Obviously, like I played for a football team till I was 18. That started my economics degree, and then I had to like left football, well, playing football to then start like only being a football coach. I started to coach when I was 16, but when I was like 18, I kind of like decided to only be coaching and not playing. Uh, and then from there, yeah, I will say that probably I grew up as a coach very quickly. When I was 23, 24, I was a first team manager, obviously coaching players that were like 30, 35 years old, and I was kind of the baby. And then I came to the UK, and football took me to where I am now. That is basically like managing football tours all around the world, really.
So you mentioned there, like your dad was the president of the club. Do you think you had an eye for not just playing, but coaching behind the scenes from an early age, even before when you became a coach? Did you always think maybe football would be your career?
Living in Spain, football, it's always difficult to live from. I think there's a lot of competition. People lost football or has in mind to become like some kind of like professional around the game, but unfortunately it's not well paid, and not most of the people can really like maintain a full-time employee and have a family and be part of this. So obviously it was difficult to say that I was going to live from it. Being very honest, I actually like did an economics degree and a master in business administration, thinking that football will be like a hobby and a passion, but not something I will be able to work and live from. But then I came to the UK and everything changed. So I met some people here. They introduced me to certain companies that probably back in the days. Now in Spain, there are companies that work around that, but 8 years ago, probably there were no companies that were doing what I am doing now. And then I really found out like, yeah, I can live from it. I can live well. I can do things. And then I kind of decide to like do my WFI license, do the Master of Football Coaches in Madrid, and then yeah, here I am now living in Liverpool and living from football. So if I'm telling you that from the early stages I knew that I will live from it, I will be lying. I probably had the passion and I wanted to, but the real scene was that it was not possible for me till I came to the UK, and then I found out like the other options. So
I think like a lot of people in their early start of their careers, it's a head versus heart moment, right? Where your head says, I need to go get a full-time, good paying job, but your heart says, I want to stay within football. When you first started becoming a coach when you were 16, 17, 18, what were some of those early challenges that you faced becoming a coach, going from playing maybe to coaching?
I think it always was of giving the players the best experience. I think as a coach, we are sometimes worried about like what to work with the players, but many times we don't think about that. The players maybe don't need you to push them so hard on a certain day. They maybe need more like that you listen to them. And obviously, I think tactical concepts have been like something I have been very deep into, and I have tried to develop myself into that. But probably at these early stages when I was starting, there were like many things around the game that I was not understanding how to fix. And obviously, I think the games, I think with time, I then become like academy manager, then like football director. So I had to watch like many games every year. And obviously, analyzing also the other games from the outside, they give you like a small pieces of how you can adjust things when you are playing or problems that you are facing. So I will say that probably, yeah, when I was starting, I had like a clear idea of how I wanted to play, but all the possibilities that can happen on a game that obviously you have not experienced, they were giving you like bad times.
Yeah, you spoke there about you had a clear identity of how you wanted to play. We're talking today about cultures and different places around the world. Was it the Spanish identity? Obviously, you grew up playing in Spain, following how it is taught over there. Is that the same identity you wanted to install when you became a first team manager, or was there other influences from across Europe that came into your coaching?
I think for me always was important to play like short passes, ideas, tactical concepts, try to create the game, like creating one twos, overloads, like switching play. And I think obviously when I start coaching, obviously football at the Premier League, for example, it was like quite direct till Guardiola came in and tried to change all the game, really. Um, but in Spain, we were growing like playing like that. So obviously, we normally when I start coaching like seven aside. So we were always playing with a 2-3-1 formation or a 3-2-1, where you were always trying to like start the game with a short pass on the sides, then playing in maybe switching play. Um, but then you were also trying to analyze what the opponent was trying to do. So I was always like after 2 or 3 years coaching, I was always trying to analyze on the first 10 minutes, like how the other team was playing me and where they had like their weakest points. Because I think when you are coaching, that's what you have to analyze and give the players. They need tools to try to overcome how the other team is defending or how the other team is attacking. Many times, I think one of the biggest mistakes that the coaches have nowadays is you try to play your game, but you don't adapt your game from what the opponent is trying to play you. And at the end, if you see like who are the best coaches or who are the best teams in the world, are those that it doesn't matter if they attack more or less. It's more like when they attack, they have clear chances because they are really like analyzing where they have to attack to get you. Um, and I think many times, like many coaches are focused on saying, no, you have to play like that. The formation needs to be like that. The players need to do that. The real thing is, depending who you are facing, your player will need to do different things, not always the same. Um, so yeah, it's quite funny when clubs try to sell you their ideas and their methodology, and they try to tell you like, no, you need to play that formation, and your winger needs to do these movements, and it's like, well, they maybe need to do that movement, but if they have two defenders, maybe the smarter decision will be to do a pass back or a switch play. So obviously, it's this kind of things that when you have seen thousands of games and after analyzing match, you then realize that some people say it. I don't know if it's true or not, but people say football is a lie. It depends which version you are listening. It might be a lie to you because you are facing different situations. But obviously, I think we all love this game because of the amount of variables that gives to you and the challenges you can face. So
Yeah, you mentioned there obviously there'll be certain influences that they want you to play a certain way, or the coaching course you've gone on. Obviously, you're your UEFA licensed coaches. They're very good courses, and they teach you a lot of stuff about how to coach. But how much was it also about understanding the people? You spoke there about analyzing the opponent. But when you've stepped in to be a first team manager, you spoke about players were 10 years older than you, some of them. How important was it for you to, from an emotional point of view, understand the players and their needs, their cultures, their environments to build a successful team?
So basically, that's a funny story. So when I came in, I had like a clear vision of how I wanted the team to play. So I wanted to play with a 4-2-3-1. That then when we were defending, it was coming to a 4-3-3 with high pressure. The real thing is that after 18 games in the first round of the competition, we only got like 12 points. It's true that there were like games that we probably lost them without need. Like I think we deserve more, but the reality is that we were in like relegation positions after 18 games, and the situation was not like that good, let's say like that, because obviously I kind of like went in trying to make the players play depending on how they were working, if they were coming all days to training, if they were like performing well at trainings. The reality is that you learn that when you are managing things like that, not always the players that are training better need to play, because there are players that it doesn't matter if they train good or bad. If they are on the pitch, they score you 2 goals and you win the game. So in the second round, we did 27 points apart from the first round, and I think we were safe like 3-4 weeks before the competition end. We won the first and second on the league at home, so it was more like to understand what the team needed than what I wanted. So we changed completely like formation. We basically were playing like 4-3-3, understanding that there were some players that couldn't come down to defend after losing the ball, that they needed to step up. The midfielders kind of rotate their positions. They were like a bit wider instead of being like so close, because we were receiving a lot of balls on the sides, and that was giving us like bad times because the rivals were scoring goals. And I think that time it really made me understand that, or understood that you need to understand the players you have and what's best for the team. And best for the team, obviously, you need to have clear ideas. But if the team wins, you have happy players. If the team is not winning, it doesn't matter if you follow your rules. You are out, because if they are not happy with you, you are out. And I have to be like uh, very appreciative with the players that I had, because obviously when everything was going bad and we had bad times, the president of the club tried to like check with players if I had to be still in charge of the team, because we were on relegation positions, and obviously open discussions with the captains to see how everything was going. And everyone was saying like, no, we are happy with the coaching style. People is putting time and effort here. It's just that the results are not coming, and we have like bad luck certain days, but everything will come. And it came at the end, so we end up well. But you always have this kind of moments, like, I don't know, just looking at recent times, I think Xavi Alonso is a clear example of a situation like that. Even he's been like the coach at Real Madrid in the last 10 years, probably with the highest percentage of winnings. He's been kicked out because there were like a couple of results that the management team was not expecting, and then they went to the players, and the players said like, no, we want another one. And that's the real thing, and obviously no one speaks about that in the media, but everyone who is inside the game, we know how everything works internally. um, so yeah, I was lucky enough, but I would say that probably the most important learning there, and that's something that I still like use nowadays with the people that I have to manage, is that many times it's more important to listen to people about things that they are thinking on and off the job, than not just give them like a lot of work and then just tell them like, no, I need that, but I don't care about you. I think it's very important to care about people. It's very important to make everyone feel valuated, because I think that probably part of the success that we did on that time was that everyone was thinking that they were part of the team. And it's true that maybe one or two players, they left the team during the season because they couldn't get minutes, or they thought that I probably was not like fair enough with them. And that always happens, like But yeah, I think that probably was like my biggest learning on the process.
So it seems like the key factor there was having open, honest conversations with the players, with the management staff, in the hierarchy. And you spoke there obviously about the example of Xabi Alonso and the president, the management staff are coming and speaking to the players, having these conversations. How important, maybe back then or even now with your role now within sports tourism and the tours that you do, is listening to people rather than speaking to people and listening to what they have to say so you gain a better clarity about situations?
I think it's the most important part of everything, not only in your daily life, also when you are coaching. I think you can have ideas or you can have a concept of how you want to coach, but you always need to confront those concepts with the ideas of your players or the ideas of your assistant manager. I think what is the most important part is that when people is part of something, they need to feel they are part of that. You know what I mean? Like they need to feel evaluated. They need to feel that they can give their opinion. I'm not saying that they will give me their opinion and I will follow it, because obviously I will have clear ideas of what I want to get and what I want to achieve. But at least to listen to them, and if you need to do like a small adjustments or get to different places, I think it's very important.
And you spoke there about obviously a little bit about identity, and you've got to have your own identity, but then listen and share power with others. How important is football as a identity builder? Have you seen maybe through some tours that football has really united people? Obviously, maybe they've gone to different countries and found a different identities. How important is it to explore an identity when it comes to football as a glue?
I think football it's like a part of life. You know what I mean? I think when you are traveling the world, and I feel very lucky because I understood that my mission in life was to share time with coaches and exchange ideas and learn from the others and try to give like options to develop. And I'm really happy that I found it on my early ages, and I can live from it like I hope forever. But I think for me, what is more important is that when you travel, you are seeing different things, not only the things that you are doing back home. So I'm not saying that you will come to Europe and change completely your ideas. I always say the same. I'm obviously like in coach education tours. I'm sharing my journey with like hundreds of clubs and coaches. And I always say the same, like, listen, you will be training with Barca, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, whatever. It's like you cannot get all what they are doing to make it at home. It won't make sense that you completely change your way of training, or you will change like the way of how you are communicating to your players. But from every training or every club that you visit, and it doesn't need to be like professional, it probably can be like on a friendly game that you are playing against like a small club back here. You can pick up things and things that will improve the way you are doing things back home, because maybe you can apply them directly, like you can see them and say, oh, yes, that will work perfectly with the way I'm doing things. Or maybe you can see them and say, like, oh, well, if I adapt this like that, I can use it back home. So I think, yeah, travel the world or travel to like places where the sport you are practicing or the things you are doing are like top ranked or are like the highest in the world. It gives you like an open mind to really say like, okay, I can improve the way I'm doing things, because if I implement that back home, it will help me to reach another level. So I think that that's for me the most important thing. I don't think like any way has the solution for anything. I don't think that no one needs to follow any guideline. And obviously, we can talk about tactical periodization from Mourinho or collective game that Luis Enrique, Guardiola practice. But the real thing is that all of them, they adapt all the concepts they have to get the best from their players, and they don't really follow any guideline. They get all the concepts. They analyze how his team can get the best level and how they can attack the rival, the abilities to reach the best result. And that's, I think, what's the best of traveling around.
Yeah, you obviously you grew up in Spain. You're now currently living in Liverpool in England. You've experienced different cultures and you've been to different places. Do you think and believe that football can really show a culture of a country versus if you're not a sports fan and you just go to a country, how can football really show what the culture's like in different countries?
I think back in the days, it probably was showing more. I think nowadays, unfortunately for everyone, football is moving to a more like commercial marketing area than more to like showing a feeling of the people or a way of doing of the people. I think that football is, after all the study that people has done, it's quite like ABC. Most of the games now are result of mistakes or set pieces or analyzing like where are the weaknesses of the teams, but all the teams are well worked. They have like physical amazing conditions, and all the teams are like well structured and they know about tactics, technical concepts. All the players that we have playing in the top level, they they are like 90% fit to play the game. I think for me, what is more important when you are coaching, for example, is that I'm not saying that you need to change the way you are playing, but the players need to show what the fans are expecting. So if you play in short passes or you play long balls, I don't think it's important nowadays. It's more about like what people is expecting a player to make. So if you have like fans of a club that are expecting a player to celebrate when he gets the ball back, it's important that it doesn't matter if it's your own pitch. A player celebrate that with the fans. If you are scoring a goal and the fans are expecting the whole team to go to celebrate in one of the sides of the pitches, you need to show that. And I think, unfortunately for everyone, most of the coaches nowadays, they are so focused on the scouting part of the teams and to analyzing the game that they are missing these small details. And when you have the correct coach in the correct team, the first thing you see is these small details that have the fans like jumping from their seats and like encouraging the team. I'm being very honest. Obviously, I've been now living 10 months in the UK. I have probably gone to like 25, 30 Premier League games. It's sad to feel that the fans are not like so passionate with the clubs and they only like shout when there is like a big occasion or when there is a goal. It's not like the whole game that they are like pushing the team and like it doesn't matter if the team is performing or not, they are singing and enjoying. And I think that's also part of the mistake that the clubs are doing in terms of going through the commercial marketing departments to try to get more money, because we are losing also like the local fans that are those that are the day before without sleeping to go to that game and try to push the team. Um, and I completely get it. I don't think it's a fault from the clubs. It's basically a fault from the system that it has fall down to have players winning so many millions thinking they are untouchable and not being next to the community or next to the local fans. And it's not like before. You have like people now winning millions and millions, and obviously the fans have to pay part of those millions because the TV rights are not enough to make them win what they want to win.
I think you hit on some interesting points, and like a big one there about community is I feel you can find the right culture and you can find the identity of people when sometimes you don't go to the big clubs, that you actually go to smaller clubs or maybe like what we would say like called like championship League One clubs, because they care more about their community and therefore they're bringing in the fans and creating better atmospheres. Whereas I've been to some Premier League games and there is no atmosphere because, like you said, it's too commercialized and they're too focused on the money. Whereas lower league down, it's more about the community. So, from your experience of going to different places in the UK, Spain, how important do you think it is for clubs to value community?
Great question. And obviously it's a difficult answer. I will say community is important for all the clubs, but community is the first answer for the clubs that don't compete for the trophies. If you are competing for the trophies, more than community, you need a team. You need the best players in the world, and they need to be paid as the best players in the world. What that means is that tickets will be like uh, all treasures prices, like they will be super expensive, and a lot of the local people won't be able to afford to go to those games. So I think it's very important that to create community, the ticket prices needs to be reasonable for the local people to go, and that only happens from middle league, like table teams, to, as you are saying, like second division, third division clubs, where the football game is the only thing that people is waiting 2 weeks to go to. And then obviously when it happens, it stops the city and everyone spend the day together and have the best time. If we are talking about top six in any league in Europe, I will say it's all about like tourists going around. Obviously, you still have like some small communities that they have been linked to the club forever and they are still there. But it will be probably a good study to analyze, like on those top six clubs, how many hospitality seats on a percentage rate are growing year per year to understand better how the culture around the clubs is changing. I will say big names obviously have big fans all around the world, but I think you always need to take care of having a nice percentage of local fans because they are the ones who bring the atmosphere, who bring like the courage to the team. And I don't know how big is the importance to do like a good team in terms of having like a local community linked to the club and how this will influence you to win trophies. But definitely to have a full stadium of fans encouraging the team with the songs of the team, with like making the players be like 12 players inside of the pitch and not 11. It's something that it needs to happen. But I think also to make it happen, you need also teams that at least have 3, 4 academy players playing, that they understand what the culture of the club means. They share that culture with the new players that you are bringing from outside. And then all that obviously creates like the perfect bonding and creates the team culture that you need to win trophies.
Can you maybe share maybe an experience or a story that you felt a team or a club has had the right balance of going for the trophies, but also having the pride, the community, the right culture? Is there maybe a team that stands out that you've been part of maybe?
Well, not part of, but obviously, I think Guardiola's Barca in 2012 or something like that, it will be probably the best example of the history of football, of how they were playing, how many academy players they had, what they reached, what that meant to the country, and obviously how the culture of the club was around. Um, I think there are many examples. I think Real Madrid, obviously, in the recent years, the years that they were under Zidane, people can say that they were lucky, and obviously, I think that there were some years that they were lucky enough to go through certain games, but to win 3 Champions League in a row, it's not about luckiness. It's about probably like a lot of studies of how they can get the teams to win them. Because many times they were just like attacking 3 times while the others were attacking 15. But the 3 times they were arriving, they were getting the goals. That's not because of a luck thing. That's because they knew they will only have these 3, but they knew where they needed to be and they got it. So I think when you have a team that is like really at the top level or have like the best player in the world, you really see it, I will say. I think probably in the last years we haven't seen a Messi, a Cristiano, or we haven't seen players like, I don't know, Modric and Kroos or Xavi and Iniesta that were completely controlling the games. Sometimes the others were getting like the brightness, but the reality is that the midfielders normally have been the ones controlling the game and have been the ones like that have made the team success. Um, and I think the last years football has changed so much. that you don't see those kind of players that kind of like make everything disappear. And it doesn't matter the tactics, it doesn't matter the way you are defending. Probably you have like players now like Vinicius, Mbappe, Lamine Yamal that probably are those kind of players that doesn't matter if you put them two defenders on them, they will go through, or they will get like a pass behind, and it will be like, yeah, you don't have enough time to react because it's a goal. But it's how the game it's controlled now, and how it looks like. So let's see how it evolves. Obviously, I think we are now moving into a crazy World Cup, in my opinion, in terms of prices, in terms of where we want to take the game, because it will be like something crazy. Um, but is what the decision makers are doing, and we can just like follow it.
It's interesting you mentioned about the World Cup, and I think I agree with you that it's going to be a unique World Cup, I think. And I think we've spoken a little bit about prices, and sometimes fans are being outpriced of attending what they want to attend. And I mean, I'm looking at some of these World Cup ticket prices, and I'm going to have to take out a mortgage to afford just a regular round ticket. How do you see this World Cup going from your point of view as working in sports tourism? Do you see this World Cup being a huge success, a huge failure? Where do you stand?
Where do you want me to start? Uh, I think we have a huge problem. Uh, we are changing football from being the workers' sport and the sport that was next to the medium class to give them like their best days of their lives, to something that is promoted for rich people. Uh, and yeah, you were saying about like looking at price tickets. I have been doing it too, and checking if it might worth to like go to a game. It's actually cheaper to buy like a flight to the US than pay the ticket for the game. And I hope, or I want to think that probably 2 or 3 days before the game happens, prices might change, and the tickets that have not been sold, they will be in a different price. I don't know. But I think there are a lot of like commercial options around soccer or football, however you want to call it nowadays, that people is not stopping it. But I don't think it's a football problem. I think it's like a world problem that people is not like stopping certain things of raising prices, that we are arriving to situations where going out for dinner is 80, $100 per head instead of 40, 50 that it should be. It's all about, I don't know. I was in in New York last month, and we were in an Italian restaurant, and we asked for a Spanish wine that we checked the price. It was 12 euros, or I don't know, $15, the price of the bottle. They were selling the bottle on $80 at the restaurant. It's like there are things that, because no one has stopped the battle, and no one complains. I think our granddad's generation, they were seeing something that it was not right, and they were going to the streets, stopping the country and saying, no, we won't go through that. I think our generation, we are like the generation that we are just accepting everything, paying more taxes, paying higher prices, and we just go like working on 2 or 3 jobs to try to pay for everything. And then many times, instead of having 3, 4 kids, just debating if we can have one or two because we cannot afford to have more. Um, and it's sad because that means that money is going somewhere else. And then unfortunately for us, there are like many public facilities, many things that they should be like top ranked because of the money we are paying, that they are not at the level we are expecting. And that means that this money is going to somewhere or to someone that we don't know where, we don't know who, but it's not well managed. But I think it's a worldwide problem. I won't go in if it's like a problem from the US, a problem in Spain, a problem in the UK. I think it's just like a problem that we are all facing in different ways in each country we live in. but it's, I think, uh, a problem that we have not faced, and a problem that it's a fault from us that we have not stopped it before. And obviously, being an economist, I think that probably we will face like an economic crisis, because we will reach a level where, well, they are asking us to pay. We won't be able to face it with the salaries we are getting, and obviously we will need to restart again. But it's something that will happen in the future, I guess.
It's interesting as well because when I talk about culture in football, the one event that stands out pure culture is the World Cup because you've got all these cultures from around the world coming to one place. And for me, the biggest one is the 2010 South Africa World Cup and the opening game when South Africa are playing and the vuvuzelas and you're experiencing memories there and different cultures, how people do it, how fans are, how players are. You've got some African teams like dancing on the bus, the Brazilians with their bongo. It's crazy. I feel like this next World Cup, we're going to see obviously some culture. Like it's not going to just be eradicated and not be there anymore. But I feel like the culture of some of these teams is going to get drowned out a little bit because, as you said, the rich people can afford the ticket. So are the true fans really going to be there? Maybe, maybe not. Do you think that this World Cup could maybe be a catalyst or an eye opener for FIFA to say, right, the next World Cup, we can't have ticket prices like this because of what's just happened?
I think it's difficult to say till we don't see where it goes. I think FIFA is not worried, unfortunately, about the price tickets. I think they already get the money they want with the TV rights. They don't need the price ticket to be one or another. And I think I read in a sports magazine that one of the main reasons for the tickets to be so high is that the amount of money that the local governments have given to FIFA compared to uh, Qatar, that was the last World Cup, it's a massive difference. So obviously, they are trying to get the money from the tickets. About what you are saying, I don't know. I think obviously it doesn't matter if you are rich or poor. You love your country and you try to like encourage your team as best as you can. But you see, like, for common ball finals, people saying that they are selling their houses to go to a Libertadores final or to go to like places like that. Even for the Champions League, you see people doing like things like that. I think it's just the price you have. Like if you want to be part of that, you know that you will need to pay that price, and it's more your decision than others. I think what worries me more is that obviously I was in the US Soccer Coaches Convention last month. There was like a stand around the World Cup and around like the Adidas teams that will be in the World Cup. But I didn't see an organization promoting the World Cup, asking the coaches to link the local communities to the cities where there will be like games in the US. I didn't see like that feeling of the World Cup that obviously in 2030 it will be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. I'm expecting like the local federation going through all the regions to say like, hey guys, for everyone who comes, we need to do like this local fan area. We will need like food trucks. We will need like local teams to create like an amazing experience for the city that is visiting the country. And obviously, I was born and raised in Barcelona. Every day in Barcelona, you listen to people saying that the Olympic Games in 1992 changed completely the city and the tourism, and it really like develops the city and the country. So I cannot see that at the minute. I don't know if in the last 3 5 months everyone will be rushing and creating all this like movement around. And obviously, I think people in the US is quite busy managing 2 3 works and probably doesn't want to know more till like 1 2 months of the event. But I think it needs to happen. And so for people who is visiting the US from different countries, it needs to happen that you can experience like the local products. You can experience like how people lives. I don't know. We were in Philadelphia and it was our second time there. we were loving to have like an Amish breakfast every day in the food market, like in the Reading Market in Philadelphia. That was like the best start of the day for us that we were visiting from Spain or from the UK. It was like the local product, nothing like that is sold in the supermarket, more like local people taking care of you and giving you like the best experience because you are visiting. So I think for me that will be my biggest worry if I had to manage like a World Cup or something. But as we were saying, I think now there's a lot of like worry about money, unfortunately, and not about like what is more important for someone who loves football. That for me, I have always said the same. For me, I'm fortunate enough to live from football and live my life sharing with coaches. But when I was a coach, the only worry I had when I was coaching football players, it was that in 10 years' time, 20 years' times, when I will see that player again in the street, they will stop, probably with their baby or probably with their family, and say like, oh my God, it's been like 10, 15 years, we haven't seen each other. How is life? Do you remember that time when someone scored that goal? How is life going? Where are you now? Blah. That's all what I was like trying to get from them, and trying to make them be like better human beings, trying to obviously try to show them more like personal things than football things, because probably none of them will arrive to the professional game. So I have been around some people that they have arrived to the top level, but it's like you can count them with a hand. And I think we all need to understand that football for everyone, I think it's part of your life. It's part of getting out of all your problems you have in your daily life and try to disconnect for a couple of hours and say like, oh yeah, I haven't think in all the problems I have or in all the worries I had, because I'm just here on the pitch, just focusing, concentrating the game or concentrating the training and try to have a great time. So we would
No,
say.
you speak well there, and I think you've hit so many good topics. And as we look to reflect back on what we've spoken about here, you spoke there about at the end of the day, we love this sport, and that's the reason why we're in it. And you've been in the sports tourism world for a while now. Is there one lesson that you've learned from traveling, from culture, about people from your time in sports tourism?
I think for me the best thing I'm getting is that every month I receive texts from people that have been in experiences around remembering their times in certain places. I think what for me is the most important thing is the experience we are giving. It's sometimes we can sell it as a once in a lifetime experience, because we know that for certain people it might be just that once in a lifetime experience. For others, they are lucky enough to come 3, 4, 10 times maybe during their lives. But for some people, you know that is that once in a lifetime. And those stories they are creating because it's their lives, not yours. You are facilitating memories that will last for them forever. And they will share those memories with their kids. They will share them with their grandkids. And if you ask me, like, what are you proud of? It's like, listen, I'm not just like creating memories or sharing memories with people. I'm just like creating a lot of stories that will be great for a lot of people. And I think that's probably what I get. If you ask me like what I get personally, I think for me the most important thing is get to know like nice people on the way. And obviously not everyone is nice. We all know it. There's people that sometimes you have to cross by and it's like, well, I hope life goes well to you, but I don't really want to speak to you again. But I'm lucky enough to say that I share my time with a lot of great people that obviously some of them end up being friends and others is like you speak like 2 or 3 times per year. But it's like they are like great people. You want to share time with them and see how they are and see if you can share something with them that will help them. And I think it's all about that. It's not a business thing. And I don't like to see my job as a business thing. If I was like seeing it like that, probably I will last a lot here. I'm just like enjoying my time and helping people really.
Well, I think that's a brilliant way to wrap up this conversation. But before we let you go, I've got a little football culture quickfire quiz for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you two choices. We've got 10 questions, and you're going to give me your answer to this or that. So we'll kick it off. Would you rather a beer in the stadium or a beer in the pub before the game?
A beer in the pub.
Would you prefer to sing the local chant or just sit there and enjoy the game?
Sing the local chants.
I love it. Would you rather stand with the ultras or would you rather the seat with the perfect view?
Sit with the perfect view.
Interesting. This is a tough one, maybe. Champions League final or World Cup final? What would you rather have tickets for?
World Cup final.
Would you rather go to a local derby or a big game between two top teams?
Local derby.
Would you rather go see a game in England or a game in Spain?
In England.
Oh, that's a big one. People back home ain't going to be happy with you.
No.
Do you prefer a night game or a day game?
Night game.
Small old stadium or a modern day stadium?
A small old stadium.
And then, would you rather season ticket at Barcelona or front row tickets to the World Cup final?
Front row tickets.
Like it. And then we'll give you one last one. Would you rather have, and we spoke about memories, one unforgettable match to remember or a whole week of visiting many games?
Oof. A whole week of visiting many games.
Love it. Well, Jaume, I think you've given some great answers just in those last 10 questions, and we could probably go on and debate those. But before I let you leave, it's obviously you're filling in for Jack for the Guess Who challenge. Obviously, your first answer you gave was Victor Valdez, and then
Yeah.
you went a little bit quiet after clue two. So I'll
Yeah.
give you clue three and see where we are. But just to remind
Okay.
you, clue one, this ex-Barcelona player has played in the Premier League. Clue
Mhm.
two, this midfielder has played for three different Premier League teams. Now, moving on to clue three, which might help you. Despite not winning a trophy in England, he was part of the 2012-2013 Barcelona title winning team.
And he has not won anything in England.
Didn't win anything in England.
I just have two in mind. Did he play for Everton?
I'm not going to
You
give you,
cannot say.
you're going to have to maybe wait. Do you want the next clue?
Is it Deulofeu?
It is not. I'm going to move on to the next clue. This player, representing the Cameroon, has featured for Arsenal, West Ham, and had a brief loan at Charlton Athletic.
Arsenal, West Ham, and Charlton Athletic and Cameroon. I play for Barca.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, I might have stumped you here.
Completely lost. Cameroon, I only remember Eto'o. Eto'o. No, let's go for the last one.
So the last one. This central midfield player, playing as a holding midfield player next to Cesc Fabregas, in 2012 was voted the third best African player in the world. I might have to give
I'm,
you a sixth clue here.
no, I think it only comes one to my mind. I think it needs to be him, but. So Alex Song.
Alex Song is the correct answer. Wow, I made you work for that one.
Jesus Christ. I I nearly didn't remember him. It was a
Yeah,
tricky one. It was a tricky one. Knowing that you are a United fan, I was thinking like, it will be Victor Valdez as soon as you were asking questions. And a funny story one. I'm from like a 6,000 town, and Victor Valdez was from there. So I was like, oh, if it's him, we have funny stories to say.
Well, hopefully he's listening. He's not going to reach out to you and say, "Why was it
There
not
we go.
me?" But
There we go.
Jaume, I really appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you and listening about sports culture. And to the listeners, we bid you a farewell.
1,